Two middle-aged men in acute abdomen underwent CT abdomen. Erect and supine X-ray abdomen have been replaced by CT abdomen in most of the tertiary hospitals. Here, CT topogram gives almost the same information as X-ray abdomen supine position. So I am giving only the CT topo of two different patients, both of them being middle-aged men, and they are marked as 1 and 2 for the diagnosis. I am giving 4 choices. Please choose the best for the first and second CT topo. The diagnosis might be the same or it could be different. Now the choices are 1. Pneumatosis intestinalis, 2. Small bowel obstruction, 3. Pneumoperitoneum, 4. Paralytic ileus. I am telling you again, after the advent of CT, X-ray abdomen in erect and supine positions have been replaced by most of the private tertiary hospital centers. But in many rural areas, the X-rays still give a lot of information if the consultants are very much familiar. Remember, in all the exams for postgraduates and MBBS graduates, spotted diagnosis by X-ray abdomen is still given importance. So this quiz is important practically and in the exam point of view. Now let's come to your quiz. What's your diagnosis in the two different CT topos? You can assume as X-ray abdomen supine position in two different patients, okay? Here, if you want more time, please pause the video and review again with the MCQ. Within few seconds, I'll give you the diagnosis and review accordingly. Are you ready? Let's go. In both the topos, there is dilatation of the small bowel loops, mainly the jejunum. The first one shows many signs of pneumoperitoneum, especially the Wriggler sign, football sign, cupola sign, and falciform ligament signs, which are all marked there. The other one, means 2, shows dilatation of the small bowel loops occupying major portion of abdomen with no signs of pneumoperitoneum, indicative of small bowel obstruction. So the diagnosis is significant pneumoperitoneum in the first picture, and the other CT topo shows changes of only small bowel obstruction. It's very rare to diagnose pneumoperitoneum in the CT topo itself because it needs large volume of gas in the peritoneal compartment for such diagnosis. I'm giving the picture. Please go through the signs of pneumoperitoneum as described there. I'm giving 12 names. Please memorize all the signs with the names. They might not be important practically, but they might be crucial in the exams. Now, knowing the signs is an easier job, right? But it is difficult to rule out the pseudo signs. It's well known that Wriggler sign, which is also called as double wall sign, might be seen in normal asymptomatic patients or in those who have come for some other symptoms. Here I am also giving other mimickers of pneumoperitoneum in acute setting. I am describing it as pseudo pneumoperitoneum because it's sometimes misleading even to the experienced radiologist or the surgeons. Please be aware of all the causes of pseudo pneumoperitoneum, especially in ICU, immediate post-operative patients, and in other signs of acute abdomen. Please go through some of the causes of pseudo pneumoperitoneum I have put in. After this, I will discuss about pneumoperitoneum through X-rays in MCQ pattern, right? Then I will talk about few facts about role of ultrasound to diagnose pneumoperitoneum. Now we will go to the questions. So the first question, a stable walking patient comes with the X-ray requisition of X-ray to rule out pneumoperitoneum. Please choose one of the choices. So A, X-ray left lateral decubitus view, B, X-ray chest PA view, C, X-ray abdomen erect view, D, X-ray abdomen supine view. The answer is either X-ray chest PA view in the radiologist's point of view or X-ray abdomen erect view in the surgeon's point of view. Now we'll go to the second question. Again, a stable patient walking comes with the X-ray requisition of X-ray to rule out small bowel obstruction. Please choose one of the same choices. Now the answer is X-ray abdomen, erect and supine views. We'll go to the third question. This is an unstable patient in emergency and an urgent bedside X-ray is to be done to rule out pneumoperitoneum. Which X-ray is the most sensitive to rule out pneumoperitoneum? The same choices are given. Now what's your choice? Now the answer is X-ray left lateral decubitus view, right? Fourth question, stable patient in a stretcher but requested to do X-ray chest PA view and X-ray abdomen erect view to rule out pneumoperitoneum. How long the patient has to be in standing position or sitting position before doing the X-ray abdomen erect view or X-ray chest PA view to know about the pneumoperitoneum? The choices are A, 1 minute, B, 3 minutes, C, 7 minutes, D, 10 minutes. What's your choice? Here the answer is 3 minutes. That's the minimum time required for a normal weighted patient. But otherwise it has to be more than that if the patient is obese or patient has been supine for a very longer time. So if you give more time in standing or sitting position, then it's coming more sensitive to diagnose pneumoperitoneum. The last one is about role of ultrasound in pneumoperitoneum. In the last decade, ultrasound is easier to diagnose pneumoperitoneum even if the X-ray is negative. I'll give a multiple choice question and please give your answer. Any ultrasound signs or techniques are there to diagnose pneumoperitoneum? The choices are 1. Scissor technique, 2. Enhanced peritoneal stripe sign, 3. A line horizontal reverberation artifacts, 4. Gas bubbles in ascites. What's your answer? The answer is all of the above is the right answer. I am giving two pictures which are straightforward and please go through them. It's very easy to diagnose mild to moderate pneumoperitoneum in emergency room just by a small B-mode ultrasound machine through epigastric region by scissor technique. What is scissor technique? It's by compressing and releasing the epigastric skin by the probe, compressing the abdomen with the probe and then releasing, and you can see the pneumoperitoneum to see the enhanced peritoneal stripe sign which is anterior to the left lobe of liver. The same scissor technique is done to rule out pneumoperitoneum and bowel gas through seeing the bowel wall by high resolution ultrasound probe in the abdomen by the same scissor technique. If ascites is there with multiple hyperechoic foci, it can be due to either proteinaceous contents or due to blood products or due to air pockets. But if there is some reverberations with that, then it's definitely air pockets. If it is mild and the patient is cooperative, then we can see pneumoperitoneum by moving the patient in left lateral position and put the ultrasound probe in the right upper lateral region, and you can see the air anterior to the liver. It's difficult to see focal pneumoperitoneum or small free pneumoperitoneum, but by chance with the clinical background, we might see A lines which are the same horizontal reverberation artifacts to see the pneumothorax in lung ultrasound. Here the same thing you can see in the abdomen. If there is a suspicion or you cannot rule out, then anyway CT is needed to confirm the findings. So please remember, ultrasound is very much sensitive to diagnose pneumoperitoneum, right? Okay, that's end of the session. You can give your opinions in the comment section. If you are interested in the other quizzes, please you can click the blue colored R button to see rest of the quiz list. You can click there and you can go to the quizzes if you are interested. Thank you very much for your patient hearing.